Ashhadu
Ashhadu
Allah
Allah
ilaha
ilaha
illallah
illallah.
wa
Peru, a country rich in the history of the Inca civilization and breathtaking natural wonders like Machu Picchu and the Amazon, is now witnessing another fascinating phenomenon, an increasing number of Peruvians embracing Islam. Although the country is predominantly Catholic, Islam has made its way into Peru in unexpected ways, and more people are now inspired to convert. This story is not just about religion, but also about the search for the meaning of life, inner peace, and the courage to break away from old traditions in pursuit of something more beautiful. Islam first arrived in Peru in the 16th century during the Spanish colonization. At that time, the Spanish conquistadors brought along the Moors, Muslims from North Africa, who had previously inhabited Spain. These Muslims faced a harsh reality. They had to hide their religious practices due to pressure from the Spanish Inquisition, which forced them to convert or face torture. Many were compelled to conceal their Muslim identity for their safety, yet traces of Islam remained in their culture and history. Although Islam nearly disappeared from Peruvian soil at that time, its history remained a part of a hidden heritage. It was only several centuries later, in the early 20th century, that Islam began to regain its foothold in Peru through waves of immigration from the Arab world, particularly from Palestine, Syria, and Lebanon. These immigrants came in search of a better life and brought their Islamic traditions with them. They built small mosques, taught Islamic teachings, and introduced their culture to the wider Peruvian society. However, their numbers remained very small, and Islam was still largely unknown to most of the local population. However, in recent years, a significant change has begun to emerge. Each year, more and more Peruvians are embracing Islam, a phenomenon that not only draws attention, but also touches the hearts of many. The desire to find a deeper meaning in life, seek inner peace, and understand spiritual truth has led them to Islam. One of the factors that contributed to this phenomenon was the events of September 11, 2001. Although the incident sparked fear and stereotypes against Muslims worldwide, a handful of people became intrigued and sought to learn more about the religion. In Peru, amid the confusion and uncertainty that arose, many began to ask, what does Islam truly teach? What makes this religion so strong that it has endured for more than 1,400 years? Among those seeking answers, there are many stories of how they felt connected to Islam after studying its teachings more deeply. One inspiring story is that of Maria Fernandez, a Peruvian woman who felt an emptiness in her life despite having everything she needed. I had a good job, a loving family, but I felt that something was missing in my life. I felt unfulfilled. When I started reading the Quran and delving into the teachings of Islam, I found a peace I had never experienced before, said Maria, who eventually decided to embrace Islam. Maria is one of many converts in Peru who have found peace in the teachings of Islam. For them, Islam is not just a religion, but a way of life that provides clear guidance in facing life's challenges and finding true happiness. Their journey of discovery is often not easy. They have to go against strong family and societal traditions. However, their determination to seek truth and peace gives them the strength to remain steadfast in their choice. The Muslim community in Peru, though small, is close-knit and full of enthusiasm. They have several mosques that serve as centers for worship and Islamic outreach. One of the most well-known mosques is the Lima Mosque, established by the Palestinian community in the Magdalena del Mar district in 1986. This mosque not only functions as a place of worship, but also as an educational center for Peruvians who wish to learn more about Islam. The Lima Mosque is a place where converts gather to deepen their knowledge of the religion. Here they learn not only about religious obligations, but also about the noble values found in Islam, such as brotherhood, justice, and compassion for others. Additionally, the Bab al-Islam Mosque in Tacna serves as a vital center for Islamic outreach, bringing together Muslims from diverse backgrounds to worship and discuss Islamic teachings. Scholars and preachers from various countries often visit to deliver lectures and studies on Islam, not only to Muslims, but also to Peruvians interested in learning more about the religion. These outreach efforts continue to grow as the number of converts seeking peace in Islam increases. However, despite the growing presence of Islam in Peru, challenges remain. One of the biggest challenges faced by Muslims in the country is the issue of stereotypes and misunderstandings about Islam. Many people in Peru still view Islam through the lens of the media, which often portrays a negative image. To address this, the Muslim community works hard to show the public that Islam is a religion full of love, peace, and tolerance. In facing these challenges, the Muslim community continues to make efforts through various outreach programs, seminars, and interfaith dialogues. They want the Peruvian public to understand that Islam is not just about worship, but also about making a positive contribution to society as a whole. From sharing kindness with those in need to collaborating with other religious groups to create peace, Muslims in Peru strive to be a living example of Islam's peaceful and tolerant teachings. The phenomenon of more Peruvians embracing Islam shows that this religion, although a minority, has great potential to bring peace and inspiration to a society that is becoming increasingly global and full of challenges. Those who embrace Islam find a more meaningful and deeper life, not only in the spiritual aspect but also in the social and cultural aspects. Islam in Peru is no longer a foreign religion, but a part of the life journey of many people seeking true peace. Those who are embracing Islam in greater numbers are proof that the search for truth and peace knows no boundaries. In a world full of doubt and difficulties, Islam stands as a light that illuminates the path to a better life. This long journey teaches us all that Islam is not just a religion, but a way of life that can bring peace and hope, even in the most unexpected places. With an increasing number of people embracing Islam, the future of the religion in Peru looks filled with hope, and the Muslim community there continues to play an active role in creating a more tolerant and loving society. In 2001, Yvonne Ridley, a British journalist working for the Sunday Express, was assigned to cover the war in Afghanistan. As a brave journalist accustomed to reporting from conflict zones, she illegally sneaked into Afghanistan, disguising herself as a local woman by wearing a burqa. Her goal was to obtain an exclusive report on the situation under Taliban rule. However, her adventure turned into a nightmare when she was captured by Taliban forces near the Pakistan border. At the time, news about the Taliban was filled with images of brutality, and Ridley was convinced that she would be imprisoned or even executed. In a state of fear, she tried to hide her true identity, but after an inspection, the Taliban quickly discovered that she was a Western journalist who had entered without permission. When taken to a Taliban detention camp, Ridley thought she would be treated harshly. However, the opposite happened. She was not beaten, tortured, or mistreated as she had imagined. Instead, the Taliban guards treated her with respect. They even provided her with food, water, and a proper bed. Among them, there was a man who often spoke with her. Politely, he asked if Ridley wanted to read the Quran. Ridley, who was still stubborn at the time, flatly refused. She felt that this was merely part of the Taliban's propaganda to brainwash her. However, as time went on, she began to notice something that unsettled her: the way these men behaved. Although they were often portrayed as monsters by the Western media, Ridley saw that they lived with discipline, upheld their honor, and remained steadfast in their religious values. During a conversation, one of them said to her, "We will not harm you because Islam forbids us from hurting innocent women and guests." These words changed Ridley's perspective. She began to wonder, why were the people labeled as terrorists more polite and honorable than some men in her own country? After 11 days in captivity, the Taliban finally released Yvonne Ridley as a goodwill gesture to the West. As she was about to leave, one of the Taliban leaders advised her, "Read the Quran. Don't trust the media. Find out about Islam for yourself." Those words kept echoing in her mind. She, who once deeply hated Islam, began to feel intrigued to learn more about the religion. After returning to England, Ridley couldn't ignore her promise. She began reading the Quran and studied Islam objectively, not through the lens of the media she had always known. The more she read, the more fascinated she became. She discovered that Islam was not a religion of violence, as often portrayed in the media, but a faith of compassion, discipline, and justice. The teachings about the oneness of God, women's rights in Islam, and the beauty of Muslim morals deeply impressed her. 2 years after her captivity, in 2003, Yvonne Ridley recited the Shahada and officially embraced Islam. Her decision to convert shocked many people in England. As a journalist, she was known for being outspoken and courageous in criticizing injustice. Now, as a Muslim, she uses her voice to fight Islamophobia and defend the rights of Muslims in the West. She wrote books and frequently spoke at various international forums to explain how the Western media often misrepresents Islam. She was also active in politics, criticizing the foreign policies of Western countries towards the Muslim world. In the past, she thought Islam was a religion that oppressed women. However, after converting to Islam, she actually experienced a freedom and peace she had never felt before. People thought that after I converted to Islam, I would become an oppressed woman. On the contrary, I feel freer than ever, she said in an interview. Yvonne Ridley's story is proof that guidance can come in unexpected ways. From a journalist who once hated Islam, she eventually discovered the beauty of a religion she had misunderstood. She said, "If I had never been captured by the Taliban, I might never have known what Islam really is." Now she continues to fight for the truth and against negative propaganda about Islam. From a skeptical journalist, she has transformed into a devout Muslim and a defender of Islam in the Western world.